Hi, my name's Josh, and today I'm around 5 minutes from the Wollongong CBD. Today I'll be walking along the Kembla Memorial Path. The path was built to dedicate a range of memorials toward miners who lost their lives during the years of mining within the region, which still to this day continue. The pathway extends around 3 kilometres from the base of the mountain here at the physio clinic and to the top at Nebo Bradford's Breakers Lookout. Over the course of the pathway, you extend to a range of different environmental biomes, which multiple flora and fauna will call home. The reason I've chosen to investigate this specific location is recently while out running, which is something that I regularly do along the bike path, I noticed someone spraying weed killer. Only a few days later would I find a sign which read, "Control Mysore thorn weed now." Originally, I took nothing of it. I'd never heard of the weed and I had no idea whether or not it was an actual threat. Investigation though for this report showed that it's actually only localised to 2 main areas within Australia, and specifically within New South Wales. It's located more or less on the central coast, up near the edge of Queensland, and specifically in a small pocket within the Wollongong-Sydney region. Typically, Mysore thorn prefers to get around 300 to 3,000 millimetres of rain each year. In a perfect climate such as Wollongong, that's exactly where it's going to thrive. The way at which it came to the region and to Australia in general is unknown. However, it's native to Southeast Asia, Japan, China, India, places like that, where typically those levels of rainfall do occur. For me, the first cause of concern when I noticed how we dealt with Mysore thorn was actually when I saw the person spraying chemicals. I saw this relatively close to a water stream, which got me thinking, has anyone actually ever considered the impacts of spraying a weed, specifically Mysore, and whether or not its target chemical could actually continue to do harm further down a waterway? Now, I specifically didn't stop. I was out running, I didn't have time, and left that as it is. However, I did reach out to the Illawarra Weeds District. I sent them an email and they were able to get back to me and give me a range of 3 different methods. The first method is by spraying the foliage itself, which is what I saw, and it's typically the most cost-effective way and the recommended way to do it. The second is physical removal. Now, physical removal is costly, it can be effective, but it doesn't exactly target even the seed pods which exist in the ground. And the third and final method, which we will do for larger trees, is typically stump application of the chemical itself. So generally we don't do that. So what exactly are they using? Well, for Mysore thorn, we're using Metsulfuron-Methyl, or MSM for short for the rest of the video. So what exactly is MSM? It's part of a subcompound group known as sulfonlureas, and it was first developed in 1975 by the DuPont Crop Protection Group. Since 1982, that group has been known as Corteva, and they've continued to synthesize MSM. So how specifically does MSM work? It works by inhibiting AHAS enzyme, which is really important for biosynthesis within plants. AHAS enzymes also consist of... Quick note from future Josh here. I realised that after recording this video, I actually say that AHAS enzymes consist of the following chemicals. That's not true. They actually biosynthesize these and are really important in making them, and that is what is important for the plant function. Vaccine, leucine and isoleucine, and are all a part of typical plant function. So then, considering that all plants contain AHAS enzymes, could MSM be a threat to plants, specifically within this location where we've seen it and know that runoff is extremely likely to occur off Mysore thorn spraying? This issue is something we really need to consider, especially at the moment. Typically, since coming out of the drought, we experience a lot more rain during what's known as the La Nina cycle. In fact, today while filming this, it's obviously raining. This issue could continue to exacerbate what could be an already growing problem for not only plants suffering from Mysore thorn, but also those which are impacted by possible runoff from the chemical MSM itself. The first thing we need to consider then in this issue is, how does MSM behave within waterways? Current data from literature shows that typically MSM is hydraulically stable around the 7 to 8 pH mark. For areas like Wollongong, especially these creekways such as American Creek, which you can see flowing just to the right hand side of me here, this is going to be around the pH of that. Typically it's fresh water, we're getting a lot of rain and a lot of runoff. Now that we know that my MSM is actually going to be possibly stable within water around the local area, it's also important to point out this chemical was never specifically designed for use on Mysore thorn. It's used around the world. It protects crops, it protects food crops, it protects plants. It's just a general herbicide. Now, while most government policy and literature does suggest that the benefit of dealing with Mysore thorn and the impact of using MSM on local waterways is minuscule, there is new emerging evidence that MSM is starting to lose its power, specifically against Mysore thorn, which is important in a case such as Wollongong. It's been used for a long period of time. The document I was sent was from around 2016. We need to develop new methods of herbicide, methods which reduce runoff, which don't impact localized ecosystems, and which will continue to work for a long period of time. There isn't a blanket solution, but all literature points towards the fact that managing with targeted herbicides, unlike MSM, is important. Thank you for watching my video today on exploring this multi-leveled environmental issue. It's important to remember that as we deal with these issues throughout the future, we need to keep considering the cross-benefit analysis of dealing with a weed such as Mysore thorn and multi-herbicide chemicals which don't exactly target the weed itself. I'd like to thank the Illawarra District Weed Authority for sending me the information I needed to complete this report, and I'd also like to thank you again for watching my video. Thank you.